Oh yeah, that sounds so much better. It's windy though, folks. Hard to tell if it needs, I couldn't even trim it last time. It was windy like this last time. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC. Yes, I'm holding a DYNAM plane. Yes, this is a Cessna 310, but this is the DYNAM Cruiser version 3. Did not do an unboxing build because I did an unboxing build of the version 2, which is identical in the paint scheme. This time they've made it a top loader and it's a dedicated 4-cell only. I got a 3300 Liperia as far forward as the hatch will allow. And in typical DYNAM fashion, I'm not trying to be super negative. Everything works, nothing was broken except for the top of this was a little bit crunched and the top of the nose here was a little bit crunched. A lot worse than what you can see now. And I took some steam and I was able to pull that out some, and it still looks okay. You're not going to see it when it's flying. The hatch doesn't quite fit perfectly. But then again, this isn't no $400 or $500 plane. This plane was $249, which is expensive enough. I've actually already done the Maiden. I flew it one time. I posted a video, but I never made it live. In other words, you may see the thumbnail, but you can't click into it. I'll make it live, but folks, I want to tell you, I was just so disgusted with the flight of this plane on the Maiden, and mainly because both spinners, if you notice I don't have the spinners, both spinners were so out of balance, and they were nice when I took them from the shop and took them out, but when I got them to the field, I don't know what happened, but they were so out of balance it made an awful vibration. And I took it back home. I was just disgusted because I was really looking forward to flying. I really wanted a Cessna 310. That's why I bought this, because they're the only ones that make it in foam. And I know it's a good flying plane, but it's a DYNAM. So with a DYNAM, you have to take it with a grain of salt. DYNAM planes sometimes can be some of the absolute best flying and performing planes, and very easy on the battery that you could ever fly. And then other ones can be complete nightmares, and you just don't know from one plane to the next what you're going to get. And that's a true statement that I will stick to. That's not personal opinion, that's just experience, and that's just what I have discovered. This one went together like an E-Flight or an FMS plane. It went together absolutely perfectly, other than I had to fight to get the spinners on there to where they stayed straight, and even then they just don't. So I just did away with the spinners, and now I'll make that other video live, but please excuse just how negative I was in that video towards this product. It's a good flying plane. Is it a rocket ship? No. Does it have the same quality that you'll find other manufacturers? No. Is it a good plane to have? Yes. All right. Up, down, right, left, right, left. Okay. All right, let's take it up. The props do spin inward, and I've cycled the gear multiple times. With our new controller, I've had zero problem. 5 minutes, high rates, and pretty simple. If I remember right, it's 100% throws, 30% expo, all the way around. Yeah, I can already tell that sounds better than it did before. And it's super windy. Got a 7-channel Lemon RX in there, and on the 7th channel I have this nose gear on its own separate steering,
timer reset,
because I wanted to be able to trim it separately. So all right, and it's still kind of squirrely, but here we go. It's windy, it won't need flaps.
Gear tucked away.
Yeah, that sounds so much better than it did before. Oh yeah, that sounds so much better. It's windy though, folks. Hard to tell if it needs, I couldn't even trim it last time. It was windy like this last time. You can't see it?
When you get it over to east so far, I can't see it.
Oh, well, I'll try to stay closer then. Good flying plane.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Right now, it's just so windy that I'm not really trying to do anything. Just to kind of fly around a circle. I know that's boring, but really shouldn't even be flying right now. I love the profile of this thing, the way those wings, the heat on them wings. All right,
Gear down.
let's land it. Whoa.
Gear tucked away. Time remaining 3 minutes.
Yeah, folks, this is a really bad demonstration because it's just so windy. Hard to keep her straight, even with the wind gyro. Sorry. The roll rate is pretty poor, but that's okay.
Gear down.
That's okay. I'm gonna
Landing flaps.
try flaps. Don't need to, but shouldn't need them. But I want to see how she reacts. Oh, don't want to do it. Never mind.
Flaps up.
Easy flyer. Need to bring her back here in the morning.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
That red tail shows up really well. Oh man, I didn't pan right for just a second. Show them the flags, what we're dealing with here. All right. Okay.
The props are shut down. Safe to approach.
I can already see something coming loose. All right. But nice thing about it, everything's simple to fix. All right. Minute and 24 left on a 5-minute timer. So you can see my gear door is coming loose, but all that is, they've just put a wheel stopper in there and a spacer, and then all I gotta do is just vibration has screwed that, has just come unscrewed, and now just by hand tight it's fixed. So with a screwdriver I'll be able to fix it straight. Man, it's windy. Improvements from the V2 to this one, and I understand the blue and white one's exactly the same, just a different livery. They've improved the gear and they've improved the gear sequencing. They now have, instead of having the gears just up and down like electronically, they actually have a gear sequencer dedicated for the light. It's a light and gear controller is what it is. And it just has signal. You don't have, you just have power and negative. You don't have a signal wire going out to any of your gear now. Just a red and white wire, and a red and black wire, and they go to the gearbox, the gear controller, and that also controls the lights. And that just plugs into and open your gear channel on your receiver. So there's less likelihood for that to go bad. So that's an improvement. The motors are now tuned just for 4S only. They do turn inward. I do notice that this paint is a little bit darker shade than this paint on the prop. Okay, there was some crunching. DYNAM has got to embrace sending their planes in pre-foamed and formed foam coffins, not in cardboard boxes. Even though they do a good job, they wrap them in plastic, but inside them cardboard boxes, those pieces move back and forth because they get tossed up in the warehouse, and all them pieces slide around. Well, that doesn't happen in foam. Yes, I know that would increase the cost, but I would rather have a non-damaged plane instead of right off the bat have a headache and things that could be broken because they don't want to do that. Like I said, the nose was crunched, and this was kind of crunched because they had the fuselage in a tight box that just barely had enough room for it, and if you turned it, I had to almost cut the box off of it to get it out of it. Other improvements, they've stiffened the wing a little bit so it doesn't have as much flex. But the biggest, the most noticeable, and a great improvement, besides the gear being improved, is it's now a top loader, which is great because now you don't have to go have that only a 2200 at a certain angle in there. Now I can go with a bigger battery. I've got a 3300. Now the hatch doesn't quite fit on there perfectly well. Okay, it kind of kicks off to one side, but that's I can live with that because it stays on there securely. That's all I really care about. That's where I have, if you can go to autofocus, this is where I have the 3300 to get good CG. This is that controller box. They give some double-sided tape, but the way I've got my wires, I kind of just have it hanging out there. I got a 7-channel Lemon RX with the stabilizer on all the time. Let's check our battery. We had, like I said, we still had another good minute and a half, but it is so windy that I can't even really enjoy myself. So let's check the battery. 72%. So honestly, you could set your timer for 8 to 10 minutes. If you didn't have to fight the wind, you could probably fly for 10 minutes. No problem at all. CG on the plane is, I don't even want to try to hold it because of the wind, but it's basically right here. You got this wire. It's on either side of the wire. 55, looks like 55 to 85 back from the leading edge root, or leading edge of the plane. Let's go over our rates and our flap setting. And didn't really use flaps because it's just too windy. So I'll share it with you, but couldn't demonstrate it. Rates I flew in, 100% throws, 30% expo on everything. You have flaps, or split flaps, which is nice. Flaps up, 100%, no mix. Takeoff flaps, 25% with a 10% down elevator, and landing is a -50 with a 25% down elevator, but I really couldn't test it because it's just so windy and I couldn't get a good accurate reading on it. So yeah, we'll have to, further testing will have to be involved. And again, like I said, please, I'm sorry I was so negative about this plane. I was really looking forward to it, and them spinners made the flight almost impossible. I was afraid the motor was going to burn up, so I was just mad. Now I'm happy with her. I'm happy the way she flies. I just want to bring her out here on a calm day and see. I'm bringing her out here in the morning. There's actually got some pretty nice, very nice nav lights. You do have a blinking light on top of the rudder, but of course you can't see it right now. And these gear, they work real well. I mean, the joke used to be is if you had a DYNAM plane with retracts that worked, well, then you've just met Bigfoot riding a unicorn. So, but yeah, their gear box is really, really well. Now you can get this directly from DYNAM, or you can get it from FPV Builds up in West Babylon, New York. The two places you can get it in the United States that I know of. And I'm sure there's others, but good flying plane. Just, you know, there's little things with DYNAM that you have to tweak and change or mod when you first get them, but that's kind of, in a way, and kind of a nice thing in a certain sense, because it makes you have to think outside the box and a little more effort into your model. Which I would rather have that after 30 or 40 flights and have to do some stuff, not right out of the box. But it does teach you some discipline about checking your servos and making sure everything's centered and everything works right before you go to the field, which is a good discipline we should all be doing anyways, and not just take it for granted that, well, it's an E-flight plane, I'm not going to have any problems with it. No, I've crashed some E-flight planes because I had that attitude, because things weren't right. All right, folks, y'all have a good one. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good one. Don't forget, faith, family, and friends, camera precious. Thank you for filming. And that's the DYNAM Grand Cruiser version 3. And that's technically the second flight, but the first successful maiden. So we'll see you later. Bye-bye.